Hey guys, thanks again for joining us. Today we are going to be talking about how to use Google Hangouts with uh, or Google Hangouts for agendas and meetings. If you have a committee meeting or a group meeting and you have to keep track of all this stuff, Google Hangouts is a great way to organize your agendas and stuff. And if you've ever done a meeting where you have agendas and the agendas keep changing every 5 minutes, so you have to send out another update about when what changes have been made, so no one ever knows what the most up-to-date agenda is, Google Apps is the way to do it. It's so great because we're just going to be using one document that everyone's going to be able to connect to. So before we move along, I'd like to, we have Dave's going to be joining me today. Again, Dave, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Dave Kidder. I'm chair of the Phys Ed program, and welcome from Building 9.
Excellent, thanks. And Dave, do you do committees and stuff like that, I assume?
Yeah, we do. And actually, just you say that, I really wish we would have had Google Docs yesterday. We were working on our letter of intent around the table, and it was wordsmithing by committee. It was absolutely painful.
Yep.
Yeah, poor Karen was trying to keep up with all of the changes in the document. She was frantically trying to type, and this is trying to use a pad mouse rather than a regular mouse. It was just frightening, to say the least.
Yeah, you'll have to make sure she looks at this presentation after we're done, and then she can hit her head for a while. Okay, yes. So let's talk about the premise first. So typically what I suggest doing is we start off by creating a folder somewhere, and we give everyone in our committee access to the folder. Now the access is going to be pretty much a view-only access, because all we want to do is have them have a place that they can go to find the agenda minutes, whether it's for tomorrow's agenda meeting, or sorry, the agenda for tomorrow's meeting, or whether it's for an agenda for a meeting from 3 months, 3 years past. If it's all in one folder, it's great. They know where to go looking for it. The other advantage by doing this using the Google side of things is, again, it becomes searchable. So anytime I have a query or something like that, I can just go into a Google Drive, search for it, and if there's a keyword in there, maybe a guest that was involved in that meeting, Google will find it and bring up all the different documents that have that content in there. So it makes life a lot easier for searching in the past stuff. So I'm just going to do a quick screen share here, and we'll take a look at what I've been talking about. As you're watching this, probably off to your right, I believe there's links there. There is a link to the document that I'm using that has information about how to set it up. I also have a post on our blog as well, and there's a link in this document that'll down in the resources that'll take you to that as well. So I am just going to do a quick screen share here and make sure I have the right one. Trying to make sure I have the right one. And can you let me know when that shows up for you there, David?
Got it.
Okay, so here's the folder. It's called Agenda Minutes, Meeting in Minutes. I go into my sharing, and I basically, anyone on the internet can find and view, or depending what settings I have, if I want, I can just have it only people with that access and stuff. I usually don't get too crazy about this kind of stuff, especially here at MacEwan, because we are a public entity. So I mean, the stuff that we're doing is not top secret by any means. Yes, there's confidential stuff regarding wages and regarding student information that we don't want to post or make that available. But when it comes to agendas and minutes, which we typically end up posting live anyways, I don't get too crazy about that kind of stuff. Okay, so here are the agendas. What I do is I start off and I create a template. And in that template is going to be the information that I'm going to be using, as well as the, hang on a second, agenda, as well as the sharing setup. So in this example, I'm going to go in here, hit sharing. Now remember I said everyone has view access? Well, I can also go in here and I can change that to be able to comment. And that's really important, because this allows the other people who are involved in this to make comments. They can't change anything, but they can make comments about what's going on. So let's open up this document. Well, lots of people, when they do this, they typically seem to have the thought that agendas and minutes need to be in separate documents. And I don't agree with that. I think it's a lot easier to put everything together. And one of the nice things that we can do is, with this template I have, and I believe the link is also in that document, the template I can have these table of contents is basically what I've done. So the table of contents allows me to jump to a specific section. So there's my meeting minutes, there's my agenda. So before the meeting starts, a week out or whatever, I will put all the information in here. This is my meeting number, this is the time, here's the agenda. And everyone has a different way of formatting their agendas. I just grabbed one off the web, and this is the one that I would use. So here's who's going to be attending or who's been invited. Here's who our guests are. And then here's the different agenda items. Now you'll notice, some people put the minutes in there. You don't have to. I normally don't. It's just part of the template. But what I do afterwards is I copy this information here, each of these things, and I recreate them here in the minutes. So my agenda actually never changes, but it's the base for my minutes. And as we go along throughout the meeting, we can enter in I can enter in the information. I'm just going to jump back here for a second to this one called Easy Meetings Agenda. David, can you open this document up as well, please?
So we want the...
It'll be the second one, Easy Meeting Agenda in the folder. And if you can open that up. So here's the beauty of all of this is as I create this agenda, I'm just going to wait for Dave to show up.
Okay. It's all blue.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Let's just see why. Anyone on the internet can find it. I'm just going to switch this and we'll make it anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I just turned blue again.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
There's no reason why it should. I'm just going to change this to anyone on the web can edit.
Okay, that's a little better now.
All right, so I didn't do anything yet, so it must be something, a connection or something.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't see you in that file yet. I'm just going to I'll send you the link here real quickly.
Okay.
Make sure we have the same one. So, so what I was saying is I can go in here and I can create this, and then I can share it out with everybody, letting them know, hey, here's the link to get to the agenda. Now, at that point in time,
do you see me now?
Yep, got you there.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, anyone can take a look at the agenda and how it's being built, what's going to be happening on it. And I can make changes right up to 2 minutes, 30 seconds before the meeting. If people are viewing this on their iPads, which a lot of people do, or their laptops, again, which a lot of people do, then as stuff gets added, it's going to update automatically. So that's one of the nice things about using this for the agenda aspect of it, is I can keep updating stuff, make my changes and whatever, right up to the last minute. Now, let's say that as we go through here, we can see a call to order to approve the agenda. At any point in time, Dave can go in, as he's doing this now. Dave has edit rights, so he can actually go in and update any information he wants. But I can also share this with people and not give them edit access, and I can give them comment-only access. So David, I want you to switch to comment-only mode. And then take a look at the approval of the agenda. Maybe you want to add something in there. There's an item that you want to add.
Comment-only mode is?
On the top right, the one that looks like a pencil.
Okay.
Just switch that into comment mode.
Okay, editing, suggesting, viewing?
Yep, that's the one.
Viewing.
Yep.
Okay.
No, suggesting.
Oh, suggesting. Okay.
No worries.
All right.
So Dave's going to go back to where 2.4 under research report, and he's going to put a carriage return in there, and he's going to add another item that he would like to see on the agenda.
All right.
Just type in puppies or something. Okay, good enough. So this does not actually get added to the final agenda. It still has to be approved by me or someone else who's got the edit access. So even 2 or 3 days beforehand, people can say, hey, I've got a suggestion here I think I'd like to address. I, as the owner of this document, can go through and decide, you know what, I have enough time to do this during the meeting, or we do not have enough time during the meeting. And then I can go through and I can either hit the X or the checkbox, depending on whether or not I want to address this during that time. We have time, so I'm just going to click on the accept the suggestion. And now that becomes part of the actual document. So it gives people a chance to review the document before the meeting starts. It gives people a chance to make some changes or make some suggestions or put in some comments, whatever they want to do. Or in this case, because Dave has edit rights, he can go right in. So that's the agenda part. So now we sit down, we have our meeting, we go through, we review the minutes. The reviewing of the minutes should be fairly quick, because if anyone had any questions, they could use the commenting tool to address the comments or address the minutes of the previous meeting. And then we can start our new business. So I'm going to scroll down here, and all this information here, we have this. I'm just going to get rid of all of this here. So we're going to start very fresh. Call a meeting to order. Can I, David, can I get you to go in and just add some, just throw in some text? Mary had a little lamb, whatever.
Okay, just on the same document?
Yep, down on page 2 where the meeting minutes is, the actual minutes are. So during our conversation in my committee, as I'm sitting here and talking, David's taking the minutes for the meeting, and he can actually start typing the stuff in. Now remember, anyone that's got access to this file in live time can watch what he's doing. So as I have my iPad here, we sit there and we talk about whatever is being addressed. I can see what the notes are that are being taken. And if there's something in there, I can address that and say, you know what, David, I noticed you put down Mary had a little lamb. It was actually a big lamb. So if you can just change that before we move along. So that way, even as we're doing the minutes and stuff, everyone can see what's going on. Everyone can have input before we're even finished. Now, typically what will happen is the person that's taking these notes is just typing real fast. They're not going to be doing the formatting and making it pretty. But at least I, as a participant in the committee, can then go in and see what's going on. Because this is all one document, I will be able to find this at any point in time. And if I have comments down the road, so let's say, for example, now the meeting has ended, David has gone through, he's gone in and he's made some changes, he's made it nice and pretty. He's now ready to let everyone know, hey, the changes have been made. He can just go under File and email the collaborators. Now, anyone that has access to this file as a collaborator, which in this case would be my dog Jazz, will get an email. So the way I've got it set up right now, David's not in there because I didn't actually invite David. I just said anyone that knows the link can find it. But I can go in here and say minutes are now done and ready for review. And I hit send. That email will now go off to everybody that's in the committee with a link back to this document, so they don't have to go hunting and pecking to try and find this document. And they can now come in, and because they only have suggestion or comment access, they can review the minutes, make some comments. Hey, Mary had a big lamb, was actually a big lobster, can make all these different changes and stuff. And those will be available to us for our next meeting to review. So I can quickly go through and say, yep, this was a concern here. We can address this now. Or if it's just typographical kind of stuff, I can just make those changes before the next meeting. Does that make sense for what I've said there, Dave?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just thinking another application of this I really wish people would do would be the master course syllabi.
Well, and I know there are some people that are doing this. Randy Jenny, I believe, was getting involved in doing that. And you're right. Anything that involves work, group work, can take advantage of those documents and stuff. I know a lot of people, are kind of wary about getting started, and so having a committee or something like that is probably one of the easiest ways to get started. And just having a shared folder and saying, this is where everything's going to be. You don't have to search your email. You don't have to go looking for, your attachments, because we've all done that, right? We get an email, I take and I download that attachment. And then 5 minutes later is the new agenda, so I download that one. And now I delete the first one. Or did I delete the first one? Did I rename it? I don't know which one it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all gone through that. Whereas because Google Apps stores everything in the drive, and we are all accessing that one file in the cloud, we are seeing the only copy of it, and we are able to make those suggested edits. We're able to make those changes in live time. And it's really great when you've got a committee where everyone's got their laptops and stuff like that, and they're doing those minutes and those changes. They can see that. But where it also shines is, let's say that I am in Hawaii, for example, and or Dave is, because Dave likes to go to Hawaii. So Dave's in Hawaii. He maybe can't be here to phone in and stuff, but he can actually watch what's going on in live time, because whatever is being typed will show up on his iPad while he's on the beach. And from there, he can even put in comments and questions. That's if he can't, if so at the very basic level, he can see what's happening in the meeting just based on the notes that are being typed in. But he could also join that meeting through a Hangout, just like we're doing right now, where I can actually have 15 people together, including myself, and none of us have to show up. And this is really important when we start talking about winter, because we all know when it's winter and it's cold and the blizzards are in and the road conditions are really the craps, nobody wants to drive. And so you're lucky if you get quorum because no one will show up. But I mean, hey, if everyone's got an iPod, an iPhone, a computer with a camera, even if we take advantage of this, I can actually dial people on their home phone and they can listen in and be part of the conversation while watching on their other device. You can now have committee meetings that basically don't have to get together ever. If they want, they can do it all through that. Comments, questions there, David?
No, I've done it a couple of times already, just folks within our faculty, and it works quite nicely. We haven't done I'm only with the camera right now, but we've done the phone thing with people at home, and they're working on other stuff, and it works quite nicely, where you don't necessarily have to get together all the time.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. In the screen that you guys are watching right now, off to the right, there's a link there for Let's Talk Questions. If you have any questions, just click on that link. It goes to a Google Doc, and you can just throw in whatever questions you have in there, and we will try and address that. I can see a couple people popping in now. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. But it's just an open Google Doc, so just go ahead and type in a question, and we'll talk about that. And it's interesting because I know I was talking with someone the other day, and we were talking about their meetings, and they're having trouble people showing up and stuff. And I said, you know what, if you can build into your budget $100 per person, and you can get a headset, because you said you spent what, $50 on your headset or somewhere in that ballpark?
No, actually, the camera I bought, the Logitech, I think was 65, and the headset was 25. And okay. So including the Motorola Legacy Fund, aka GST, it's around $100.
Yeah. So for $100, you could outfit an individual to be part of your committee. And we all know how hard it is to get people to come in. And that can be part of the thank you gratuities that you give to people. Like, here's a $100 gift. You can use it to do whatever you want afterwards, but it also allows you to join in here so you don't have to do all the driving. You don't have to worry about, am I going to be there on time? If I'm late, I can do it from my iPad or whatever else. But I mean, they have the ability to join in from anywhere. And I think as we move farther or move things along, people are going to see how we can do this without having a meeting room. Because I mean, you can see now how David and I are, as we talk, we're exchanging ideas and comments. Anytime we get that face to face still, because I can see when Dave says something.
Yeah, I can see that.
See, I know he's laughing. I know he thinks that's funny, as opposed to, boy, Trevor's just an idiot. So I mean, you still get all that face to face stuff. And when you're working on a shared document, it just makes life so much easier. And if you haven't already, by all means, please go and take a look at some of the other videos that we've done on collaboration and stuff, because working on that document, again, we don't have to make versions of it, because the Google document will actually keep track of all our changes and create versions for us so that we can go back and say, you know what, this is what we had before, or it used to say this, but then someone came in and edited it. I hate that word. I made changes to the document, and we can track all that kind of stuff automatically. And that's one of the beauties of working in the Google world.
Yeah, just reaffirming, I wish we already had that going yesterday, because that was, like I say, an hour's worth of wordsmithing by committee was a pretty painful process.
No doubt. Okay, so just a couple of last things in the document that's linked off to the side there. I've got some resources in there. One is on, well, the post that I did on how to eliminate the emailing back and forth. So pretty much what you've just watched. Also, how to do commenting and suggested edits. How to send an email off, just like I did earlier, from the document, so you're not actually pulling your email client up together, and how to do numbering and how to restart numbering, because that's one of the things that everyone has the problem with, regardless of whether you're using Microsoft Word or something like or Google. How do you do 1, 2, 3, put in a bunch of paragraphs, then do 4, 5, 6, and restart the numbering. So there's a little bit of a resource in there. And then there's some other videos in there as well on collaboration and stuff. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to assume that we had some really good instructions there. If for more information on what we do here, if you go to mcewen.ca/Google, that will take you to our main Google site. There is a link off to the right to tutorials that will get you information about how to do basic stuff with the tutorials, basic stuff with Google Apps. There also, under the help menu, there is a link for videos. So if you're interested, these videos will be all captured there. There's also a link for tips for using Google Apps, which takes things beyond the basics. Here's how you do X, here's how you do bolding, here's how you do formatting. It takes a look at how you can do things like what we're talking about here. They're not in a manual anywhere, just things that I and others have put together on creating some ideas on how to do this. So if you're interested, mcewen.ca/Google has got lots more information there. And if you want at any point in time, please feel free to give me a call. Email me. Let's try that. Email me, beckT@mcewen.ca, or you can look me up in the directory and call me. And if you've got any questions, I can definitely go into some more information on that. David, anything you want to add?
No, deal. To have a good one, and it'll be about a month before I'm back between conferences and holidays. So this will be my last Google Hangout for a while, or at least Tech Tuesday for a while.
Okay.
So.
Well, have fun.
Oh, yeah. So when I'm blowing bubbles, I'll be thinking of you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll talk to you later.